Hello everyone, welcome to this webinar organized by the Microenterprise Acceleration Institute as part of the HP Live program. In this webinar, I would like to present to you two projects that we've been working on very extensively at the Microenterprise Acceleration Institute, namely the Live Curriculum and the Live Trainer Upgrade. If you're a certified MAP or GetIT trainer watching this webinar, then you probably remember receiving an email that looked a little bit like this sometime last summer. In this email, we invited you to participate in the development of a brand new curriculum, which we called the Live Curriculum. And actually, many of you responded. So what I'm going to present to you now, the Live Curriculum, is not just the work of the Microenterprise Acceleration Institute. Actually, there are a number of trainers who took part in this project from all over the world. There were trainers from India, from the States, from Russia, from Kenya, from Algeria, and other places participating in this project. Again, if you're a MAP or GetIT trainer, you're probably wondering what you can find in this live curriculum and how it's different from the curricula that you already know about. So let's see what the novelties are. Well, first of all, in the live curriculum, you can find a whole series of new topics. But some of them are maybe a little bit familiar to you, actually, because some of the topics in the live curriculum are based on the MAP, STSB, and TTOOLS curriculum. But we didn't simply take these topics and copy them into the new curriculum. We actually revamped them completely, and you will be able to see in a minute how we changed them. But one thing that I would like to draw your attention to is the fact that we updated all the technological exercises in these topics that you already know about. Not only did we introduce technologies that are more up to date, but we also introduced technologies, a wider range of technologies. So in addition to the licensed software that was presented in the previous curricula, we also introduced a series of open source applications. Also, as far as the technological exercises are concerned in these topics, we added more technological features, and this was because we had a demand from centers such as yours asking for more simple or for more complex features. So we tried to meet this demand. But other than the topics that you might be familiar with, and you will see in a moment what they are, we also introduced a whole series of completely brand new topics that didn't exist in MAP, STSB, or TTOOLS. In particular, we introduced a whole bunch of topics that are really focused on business a little bit more than on technology. So we have 4 topics that talk about basic business concepts, and do so a little bit through the use of technology, as you will see, but are really focused on introducing the basics of business thinking to people who are maybe not so experienced or not so familiar with running their own enterprise. We also introduced 4 topics that cover business planning. So these topics allow people to go through the whole process of creating a business plan for their company, a complete business plan that includes a marketing plan, an operations plan, a communications plan, and a financial plan. So other than these 8 business topics, we also introduced some more technology-focused topics. And in particular, we introduced 4 topics that introduce complex technological solutions for businesses, integrated technological solutions, multi-user technological solutions for businesses. And in a second, you'll be able to see what these are. Okay, so that's as far as the new topics are concerned. Other than the topics, we also changed the curriculum structure. So like in the MAP, STSB, and TTOOLS curricula, the curriculum is organized into topics. This is a word that's probably very familiar to you. And here you can see what the topics in this first version of the live curriculum are. These topics, like before, are organized into business modules. And now on the left-hand side, you can see what the business modules in the live curriculum are: marketing, operations, communications, and finance. This should look familiar to you, right? For example, in the top row, you can see all the topics related to marketing: basics of marketing, marketing plan, website management, email marketing, and search engine optimization, and etc. for the other topics in the rows below it. So far so good, nothing new. But actually, we've introduced a completely new way of organizing these same topics. And this is done by entrepreneurship levels. What you see appearing at the top of the screen now are the 5 entrepreneurship levels of the live curriculum. What are these levels? Well, basically, we introduced these levels to group topics in a way that would allow students coming to trainings to really get the knowledge that they need for their level of experience in business. So for those people who are not familiar at all with running their own company or who don't have any experience in business at all, we created the 4 business topics that I mentioned earlier. And these you can see in the blue column, the Imagine column. So the topics in the Imagine entrepreneurship level of the life curriculum are intended for really novices to business who want to know about the basics of marketing, the basics of operations, the basics of communication, and the basics of finance. The second level of the life curriculum is called Plan. So that's the green column you see on the screen. The green column, or the topics in the green column, are meant for people who already have grasped the basics of business thinking that is covered in the Imagine level. So people, once they've understood the basics, they can move on to creating a business plan. And in the green boxes, you can see all the topics that relate to the creation of a business plan. The Start level is meant for people who are starting up their own enterprise and they want to run it efficiently from the very start through the use of technology. So here in the Start level, you can see some basic technologies for companies. The Grow level, as its name says, is intended for people who already have a company and who want to make it grow, who want to expand it in some way through the use of technology. So in the orange column, you can see 4 topics that cover slightly more advanced technologies, especially web-based technologies that small business owners can use. And then in the purplish column on the right-hand side, you can see the Innovate levels and the Innovate level topics. These are the topics that I mentioned earlier, the topics that cover more integrated solutions, multi-user solutions for business owners, and especially for business owners who are experienced in business and also actually quite experienced with the use of technology in their everyday business life. So this new curriculum structure is different from before, and this is something that we consider very innovative, and we hope that you see the usefulness of organizing the topics in this way. But there are some other novelties as well. For example, the whole graphical design of the curriculum is completely different from before, and actually, as you can see here on the screen, in part of this new graphical design and also part of the new design of the curriculum are some new virtual entrepreneurs. So before we used to have one virtual entrepreneur for every module. Now we actually have one virtual entrepreneur for every level. And here you can see who they are. And you can guess what their businesses are as well. Okay, there's one other thing that's different in the life curriculum, and this is the fact that we've actually tried to enhance all the training materials for the trainer and for the students. So let's just quickly take a look at what these enhanced materials are. Well, first of all, the trainer handbook is actually much more detailed than before. If you're familiar with the MAP, STSB, and T-Tools textbooks, I will show you in a minute actually in detail rather than explaining it in words. I will show you all the different things that we've added to the trainer handbook to make it more handy for you as a trainer. Also, we've expanded the student handbook. As I mentioned before, we've expanded the exercises so that they include more basic functions and more complex functions. But other than that, we've actually tried to include more precise guidelines for the students. And we've also inserted the business context of all the technology taught into the step-by-step instructions themselves. If you remember, before it was up to the trainer to think about the business context. Well, now you as the trainer can use the business context of the technologies taught that's already presented in the student handbook as a basis for how you will teach the exercises. Other than the handbooks, we've of course developed a whole new series of question cards that match the new virtual entrepreneur characters and their businesses. And of course, we've prepared a whole series of new virtual entrepreneur slides that match these characters. And of course, like before, we've prepared activity files and demonstration files for the students and the trainer to use in different parts of the topic. And these are all, of course, consistent with the other materials and graphically consistent with them as well. Now, I said a second ago that I wanted to focus specifically on the trainer handbook and show you since you're a trainer, show you those aspects of the trainer handbook that we consider to be particularly handy for you. Well, first of all, the sort of theory section at the start of the trainer handbook that explains what the live program is, what the live curriculum is, what the topic flow is, how all the different components of the topic flow should be delivered, that's all much more detailed than before. So anytime you have a doubt about any of the theory of how to deliver the curriculum, you can refer to this more detailed theory section. Also, we've really expanded the sections that relate to all the topics, or sort of what the trainers should do in every component of the topic flow for every for every topic. And instead of me explaining this in words, let me actually show you what this looks like for real. So here on the screen, you can see the trainer handbook section of the website. Sorry, the website management section of the trainer handbook. So let's see what it looks like. First of all, there's the virtual entrepreneur story with the virtual entrepreneur slide above it, so you can match exactly which slide you should present with this story. And you should know now that there's one story for every topic, no longer one story for every module. Then there's quite a long section for the business scenario. On this page, you can see the text of the question card for this topic, but actually on the page that follows and on the one after that, you can see quite a lot of text. You can see some discussion points if you can make them out here on the screen. This we consider to be really different from the curricula that we had before, because before the trainer would get maybe 2 or 3 sentences of instructions for how to lead the business scenario, and especially the discussion at the end of the business scenario. Well, we found that trainers sometimes had a little bit of trouble with that, so we've decided to expand these sections for every topic and give you more ideas for what you can discuss with your students at that point. So you can use this as a starting point for your discussions and for your research when you're preparing for how to teach the topic. Also, for the demonstration, here you can see there are slightly more extensive guidelines for questions to ask and features to highlight. For the hands-on activity, we've also given you some tips and some suggestions for how to run this part of the topic flow. And again, similarly to the business scenario, in the debrief, we've actually expanded our suggestions for what you can talk to your students about inside the debrief. So here, again, you can see there are 2 or 3 pages of notes instead of 2 or 3 sentences like there were before. Okay. So that's basically all I wanted to say about the live curriculum. In a second, I will show you where you can go to download it from the internet. So that's probably the best way for you to explore all the novelties that I just presented.